This film is just supremely magical. I mean, how does this guy do it? Is he a wizard or something? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new movie review. And as always, I thank you all so much for stopping by. And I hope you enjoy your stay, because this is the next installment in the Marvel Studios playlist, guys. We are chugging right along in the build-up to Black Widow, as well as all these other TV projects Marvel's pumping out. And in case you missed it, I just reviewed what many consider to be one of the MCU's finest entries up to this point, Captain America: Civil War. That one was super fun to look back on, and just in case you missed it, I'll leave a link to that video in the end card for you. But this time around, we're looking at Doctor Strange, in what may be one of Marvel's most bizarre undertakings up to this point in the playlist. This one was directed by Scott Derrickson, who also brought you Sinister, a super underrated horror film, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch as the neurosurgeon who would eventually evolve into the Sorcerer Supreme. And Dr. Stephen Strange's life changes after a car accident robs him of the use of his hands. And when traditional medicine fails him, he desperately seeks healing and hope in a mysterious enclave called Kamar Taj. And he quickly learns that the Enclave is at the front line of a battle against unseen dark forces bent on destroying reality. And before long, Doctor Strange is forced to choose between his life of fortune and status, or leave it all behind to defend the world as the most powerful sorcerer in existence. And as per with all of this Marvel talk on my channel, this video may contain some mild to moderate spoilers. So, just in case you've never seen Doctor Strange before, I've warned you. So first things first, guys, I honestly think that Doctor Strange is a lot better than people give it credit for. I've got a lot of really amazing memories of going to see Doctor Strange on opening night, and on every subsequent rewatch, I've always found something new to love about Doctor Strange. I think this is one of the most underrated films in the entire MCU, because Marvel has taken yet another really weird character, and they have crafted a sensational origin story for this guy. And that all goes down to Scott Derrickson's direction of this film and for this character. And I just really love how this movie delves so deep into the multiverse. It's just insanely awesome. Which, speaking of, we gotta talk about Benedict Cumberbatch, don't we? Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange was such an incredible addition to the MCU. He has just the right balance between the hero that wants to do the right thing and save lives and whatnot, and also just the sheer arrogance of him. I mean, as a neurosurgeon, this guy thinks he's the freaking bee's knees. Dr. Stephen Strange thinks that he's the smartest guy to saunter the face of the planet. And Cumberbatch really sells that, yet there's still such a magnificent charm to this character, and you can't help but root for him. And you also feel so much empathy for this guy, especially after his brutal car accident, which to this day, I will admit, still makes me cringe. It not only takes away his dream, but it leaves his hands like this for the rest of his life. I mean, that sucks. But once he discovers Kamar Taj, and the Ancient One, played wonderfully by Tilda Swinton, even if she wasn't the right ethnicity for the character, as awesome as that would have been. Give her credit though, she does really great as the mentor for Stephen Strange. As to be expected from her, Swinton has such a poise and a prowess on screen that's always so mesmerizing to watch. And keeping on that topic, I also really would like to discuss Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo, because this is such a sensational performance as well. And a lot of people are already predicting that he might as well be the villain in Sam Raimi's sequel that he's bringing to us next year, which I'm really looking forward to, by the way. But Ejiofor's performance is extremely layered, which is good because Mordo is an extremely complex and troubled character, as we learn throughout the film. And I can't wait to see where his character goes after that chilling post-credits comment he made of there being too many sorcerers. All the performances across the board are solid. Rachel McAdams has a lot of really sweet moments and some excellent chemistry with Cumberbatch, as well as a few really funny moments in the hospital. I don't know what it is, but she sells being scared so well. And Benedict Wong as who Strange calls Beyonce, nailed it. Nailed it. Every single time he listens to Single Ladies in the library just to find out who the hell Beyonce is, it just, I lose it every time. And of course, you also have every YouTube critic's favorite actor, Mads Mikkelson, as the villain here. And even though this villain can be a little bit one-dimensional in the way he's written, the performance is still perfectly rock solid as to be expected from Mads Mikkelsen. I'd also like to discuss these visuals a little bit, because these are definitely among some of Marvel's best still to this day. Now, I don't disagree with the ones who are saying that these visuals aren't exactly groundbreaking for cinema in general, because let's face it, we've seen this type of CGI used in other films that came before this, like The Matrix and Inception and so forth. But for Marvel, these action scenes, these mind-bending visuals are absolutely hypnotic. I'm serious, every single time I revisit Doctor Strange, I can't help but get lost in these visuals. Because not only are the world-bending sequences so spectacular to look at, this is a very colorful movie as well, which I think was a very welcome surprise compared to some of these other films I've talked about on this playlist. And not to say that the other Marvel movies aren't colorful, of course not, but these mind trips of sequences where we're introduced to the multiverse and the dark dimension, these are so beautiful to look at. Doctor Strange is a very cool looking movie that I always love to get lost in every once in a while. And even though this is a solid entry into the universe, Doctor Strange is not a perfect movie. I did find a few pacing issues, especially around the first act. Now, I think once his astral body is shot out by the Ancient One for the first time, that's the point that always hooks me. Once that happens, I'm all into this world, and I'm all about learning about the magic and the lore behind it. I just find everything so fascinating. Now, before that, you get all of his stuff in the hospital, and you have his accident and his healing processes, and they're fine. They're well made. I really like how he's identifying songs on his playlist as he's giving surgery to a patient. That's really funny. But I just think all that stuff was a little bit too slow for my liking. I think it could have been tightened up a little bit more. And I have to touch on this, guys. Once he gets to Nepal and once he does start going through the training to become a sorcerer, the story does feel very reminiscent of Batman Begins. It's not like this is a bad thing. Batman Begins, I think, is the prototype origin story for a superhero. That's a movie I gave an A+ to when I reviewed it last summer. I'm just saying, on a rewatch, I feel like those similarities were a little bit more bothersome to me than they usually were. Besides that, Doctor Strange is still a very fun movie in its own right, and I think it's a supremely sensational entry into the MCU. And it also has what is undoubtedly one of the most action-packed climaxes in an MCU solo film. And it also has what I think is the funniest payoff to said climax ever. I mean, don't you just love how he beat his enemy by sheer annoyance? Dormammu, I've come to bargain. This is the way things are now. I strictly remember seeing this on opening night in a theater with a big group of friends, and shout out to my buddy Michael on this. But I remember specifically during that scene turning over to him because he was sitting right next to me. And this is not a direct quote, but I whispered to him something along the lines of this: "Watch, within the year, this scene is gonna be a 10-hour loop on YouTube." And then he just kind of snickers and nods in agreement. And sure enough, there it is, 10-hour Dormammu I've come to bargain within 3 months. God, I love fellow content creators. I'm gonna give Doctor Strange a B+. And as per usual with Marvel Studios, stay tuned for the mid and the post-credits sequence, as always per tradition, because this time around you get a really nice link up to Thor Ragnarok in what is a hilarious cameo by Chris Hemsworth. And we'll certainly get to Ragnarok later. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there's a really ominous teaser from Mordo that he could be turning over to the dark side inevitably. I can't wait to see where all of these characters go into the multiverse of madness. This is all just my opinion though. What did you guys think of this original Doctor Strange film? Do you enjoy it? Do you not? Which new characters do you think should pop up in the multiverse of madness next year? I would love to discuss all of these thoughts and then some all down there in the comments, because I love what I do here with you guys. I love discussing cinema and all things entertainment. If these topics sound appealing to you, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can, because it is free. It would really help out the channel if you did so. And as a reward, you guys will also be the first ones to know anytime a new upload hits. comments. And just one last reminder, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out. That would be awesome. And as per, look out for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon, including the next installment into this playlist. We're looking at Guardians 2, which is actually a pretty polarizing film. Some people like it more than the original. Some people like me are like, no, the original is totally better. We'll see how I feel after this rewatch. But you guys have got that video to look forward to and much, much more to come very, very soon. You guys are awesome. And with all that being said, back talk, commence!